Hey everyone, this is Emily. I'm the community manager for Balancing Monkey Games, and I also do a variety of work on Before We Leave. I had the privilege of chatting with our creative director, Sam, over on our Twitch stream this morning. Sam and I wanted to do a quick interview slash ask us anything to answer questions from the community regarding our recent partnership with Team17. They're going to be helping us bring Before We Leave to Steam. It's always a lot of fun chatting with Sam. We had a great yarn while I played through Before We Leave. Unfortunately, there were some technical difficulties at the beginning of the stream, which is why I'm recording this introduction so you know what you're in for. The interview went for about an hour and a half, and we also had Anna, our managing director, join us in Twitch chat, so you'll hear Sam and I referencing things that she's saying as well. I hope you enjoy the video. Sam is a really nice guy. It's always a lot of fun being able to chat with him. He was also kind enough to give some tips and tricks to indie developers just starting out. Anyway, that's it from me for now. I hope you guys enjoy the video. See you later. Actually, Sam, would you mind saying something?
Something.
Can you guys hear Sam now? By any chance? Oh, okay.
Yay!
That's
I
marvelous.
am no longer a disembodied floating voice.
Wonderful, wonderful. So the problem was actually in Discord. Who'd have thunk it? I'm really glad that I stayed calm and sorted that out. I'm so sorry, everyone. Okay. Sam.
Keep calm and Discord on.
Just calm. Keep calm and stab Discord. It's been so naughty lately. Oh my goodness. So the plan for today is I'm going to chat to Sam, and I'm just going to play a little bit of Before We Leave while we chat. I hope you'll enjoy it. So, Sam, let's pretend I didn't ask you how you were, and we didn't have that conversation that chat only would have heard one half of. How are you going?
Good. Good.
That's so great.
Yeah.
And we
Been a
definitely
bit nuts for the last few weeks, but
oh yeah. Yeah, you and Anna have done so well, just negotiating stuff and getting things ready. I don't know how you haven't just keeled over and died from stress, frankly. But you've done really, really well.
yeah.
So let's pull up some questions.
All right.
So, chat, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. We tend to be a pretty open book here at Balancing Monkey, so we'll tell you if we can't answer, so just ask. So I think the most popular question that we've had so far, Sam, and like one that we anticipated was, what does this mean for Before We Leave?
It means... Sorry, I was just typing something into the Discord to say, come along.
Oh, man, thank you.
So I can multitask.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing that it means first for Before We Leave is just that we've got Team17 behind us. They've got a far bigger and more established like marketing reach.
Oh yeah.
And better contacts with the streamers and the YouTubers and all that sort of stuff. So in the short term, it just means we can get the news about Before We Leave and about Steam coming out on Steam out to more people faster.
Which is marvelous. Exactly what we want. Yeah. So I'm just moving my webcam a little bit so you guys can see my whole head rather than just like half of it. Cool. Wonderful. Yeah. It seems when you and Anna came to Isaac and I and you were talking about everything, it just seemed to make sense, especially because we're such a small team. So while it's been pretty wild the past couple of weeks, as you said yourself, it's been good. So are we going to be giving up any sort of creative control to Before We Leave?
No, it's still our game. it's really nice what Team 17 have come along and said. It's basically, here's a whole bunch of things that we could do. What things do you actually need? So with the original release on Epic, we did it by ourselves. We published it ourselves, and that was partly exactly so that we'd have the experience of doing it. So there would be like, okay, we know what it's like to publish a game by ourselves, and now we do. And so now we've got this different opportunity to find out what it's like to publish a game with a publisher, and find out what the differences are.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are not interested in, they've come along and said, this is a cool game, we want to help you out with it. So they've got no interest in changing who we are or what we make.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Because I know like all four of us at the studio obviously really love Before We Leave, and having it changed would kind of suck, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
Yeah. But yeah, they've been great so far, so it's going to be wonderful to see what else they can do. So I think another concern that people have probably had is what will that change in terms of the feel of the community, and will that change our community spaces? Will they suddenly become like really, really corporate sounding and really a departure from how we've run them for the past, when did you open the Discord? 2019, July 2019, I think.
Oh my gosh, what is time anymore? Yes.
Yeah. Who knows?
So it's been nearly 2 years that we've been building this community. That's pretty cool.
It's very cool. It's like old now. It's almost old. It's not old enough to drink or anything like that. But in terms of maybe communities are like dog years. When your dog turns 2, it's actually like 70 or whatever. I don't actually know what dog years are.
So no, that was something we were very clear with when we were talking with Team 17. They've got their own community management team, and it's something that they can do and they could have done for us. But we were like, nope, this is our community. We have built it, and it's got its own flavour, and it's got a character that we worked very hard to create, and to whatever. So I mean, they might help out, but it's still going to be us. And I think even if they do help out or whatever, I don't think they're a company that are sort of marketing drone robots or anything.
Yeah.
If a publisher had come along and we'd gotten the impression that they were the sort of people that would be marketing robots, then we'd be like, yeah, thanks, but no.
Yeah.
Got to have some personality in there.
For sure, yeah. I know that like just after Before We Leave One Kiwi Game Starter in 2019, you had a few publishers approach you, and they were like, "Hey, how you doing?" Did you kind of get that impression from them, or was it more in 2019 more like I actually just want to do this myself, regardless of how the publisher actually sounded?
No, the publishers that came along were all awesome.
Sweet.
And it was amazing to have people coming to me and being like, "Hey, do you want help publishing your game?" But yeah, in the end, I was chatting with sort of people I trust about it, and just decided that it was a best opportunity, because we already, given how well the announcement went back in 2019, we're like, yeah, we think this has got some legs. We think this is going to do okay regardless.
For sure, and it has.
And so it was worth taking just that little bit of a risk of saying, we think it's going to do okay, so let's just go at it ourselves, and and get that experience, because I mean, in the end, this is our first game, so it's, if we can learn lots about it and make our next game, whatever that may be, way better because we have the experience, and then that's the best long-term thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. That learning, even if you make a ton of mistakes, like, don't matter. Well, it might matter, like, if it impacts your sales. But as long as you're learning from those mistakes. Hello, Anna. Good morning. Thank you for the follow. I just saw it pop up while we were chatting. I hope you're feeling good today.
I just realised I hadn't clicked the follow button.
Oh, my gosh. Expose, Sam Barham, creative director of Balancing Monkey Games, hasn't even followed his Twitch channel. Unbelievable. Wow, that's one for the presses.
Yeah.
Oh man, don't worry. I've got friends on Twitch who I've not followed, and I'm just like, oh crap, if I follow them now, are they going to notice? And it's going to be awkward.
What you do is you follow them when they're not on stream, and then they can't call you out for it.
That's a really good idea. I wonder if they look at their analytics and they're just like, I see Emily followed me today. I thought she followed me a year or two ago. No! So I had a question that was a little unrelated, and it might be a curveball because I literally wrote this 5 minutes before we started our call. But a lot of people have hesitancy around publishers, gamers, and sometimes indie developers alike. Do you have any thoughts on why that hesitation exists?
There's such a broad range of anything. There's like, if you talk about indie developers, there's right from some single person in their bedroom making something amazing all by themselves to, triple I studios that are indie in name only. And so there's a huge variation there, and it's the same with publishers. There are some very large publishers who are, they're big companies and they act like big companies. And just because they happen to be making games doesn't make them magically different from any other big company.
Yep, true that.
And there are some publishers which are teeny tiny and have their own flavor. My brain just froze.
Sorry, that's a big question for this early in the morning.
It is. And I think, partly the hesitation is because games can be so personal. They're so much of either a formation of yourself or a reflection of yourself. I choose to play these games because I'm this kind of a person. So people can become very wrapped up in games, identified themselves in games. So anything that changes that or challenges that can be seen like as a challenge to themselves almost.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, games can, especially like when you think of the stereotypical gamer that's depicted in like TV and movies and that sort of thing, they tend to be like socially isolated. And when you're socially isolated, you latch onto things like media. I know I did when I was a kid. And you kind of adopt that as a part of your personality, as a part of your identity even. And then, as you said, people try and change it and it's like a personal attack. Your body just reacts whether you want it to or not. It's just all in that lovely wrinkly brain we have in our heads.
I'm not a history buff like at all, but I imagine that books and movies and paintings and everything have probably gone through the same thing.
Yeah.
They start out at this thing like handwritten books that you distribute to 4 people, become printing, becomes distribution to wider audiences, becomes a thing that's commodified and marketed and all the rest of it.
Sure.
And now everyone's fine with the way books and movies are done. But gaming is going through that same process of, going from being this tiny little thing that only certain people even know about to this great big juggernaut. So of course there are great big companies out there doing the farming it for money thing.
Oh yeah.
Same with books and movies and everything else. But I still like books and movies.
Yeah, books and movies are great. You all should check them out. That's such a good answer. I love that. I think you actually touched on that in your interview with Carl a few weeks back on Zero to Play. And you say that you're not a history buff, but I was like, this sounds very knowledgeable.
I have a plus 15 to talking like I know what I'm saying.
It's very important when you run a company, right?
Yes.
Like, yes, I'm boss and I do business.
Yes.
Synergy.
I totally know what I'm talking about.
Oh, it's so true. Oh, yeah. Gaming is such a young industry, and you also have to be like books very much back in the day when they first became a thing. You have to be really quite privileged to be able to access it, because there's usually like an upfront cost for the equipment, right? Whether that's like an Xbox or a PC. Fortunately, that is being broken by, there's a space whale coming to eat me. That barrier is kind of being broken by mobile gaming because everyone has a phone. So something unrelated to what we've just been talking about, which is a question that someone actually asked in the Discord, which was a very good one. Are Team 17 slated to work on anything major for us, or like what's the plan?
There's nothing like confirmed, so I'm not going to be like, yes, they're going to do XYZ, because I may be proven wrong and that would be embarrassing. But we're very definitely both in this for the long term. We're not like going to be like, cool, we released it on Steam and now we're done. Bye.
See ya.
So we've got some ideas of what comes next for before we leave, and I'm really excited about them. But I'm sorry, I'm not going to actually say anything because it's just too early.
For sure, yeah, it's super early days, far out. Anything could happen. We don't know.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Anna's saying, "Aw," in chat. Anna, you're a director of the company. You'll find out literally first. Do not fear. So speaking of Anna, and Anna, please feel free to contribute to this since you're actually in chat. What was the overall process like for you both? I know that you had some interesting meetings early in the morning and late at night to negotiate and just, talk to Team 17 and figure out things. What was that like? What was the whole process like, being someone that's doing this for the first time? Can you just talk us through that process a little bit?
So like Anna just put in the chat, we got an email from their Game Scout, and after we'd finished doing a Kermit flail around the living room, we had a call with him, and he was super cool. And then just sort of more phone calls. We're in New Zealand, they're in England, so 8 a.m. for us is 9 p.m. for them, and vice versa, which is not too bad. It's fine. And just kind of moved very quickly through the process of, negotiating a contract and all the rest of it. Not too quickly, still, went through the lawyer and all that. And we did our due diligence, contacted someone that had worked with them before, like NSS, and asked a few people that we know things about, it's like, hey, how have you heard of Team 17 and how they like to work with them? That was cool. But yeah, Anna's saying all the same things that I'm saying.
Yeah.
Which is exactly true.
For sure.
But yeah, so I mean, it was just a sort of, I mean, it's might sound a bit odd. It's your standard negotiating a contract with another company, but that's basically what it was.
Yeah.
And we had a video call with the business team of like the people from Team 17 that are going to be working with us. There were twice as many people on that call as we have in our company.
Oh my god, that's so funny. How was that? If that was me personally, I just would have been like, oh my god, whoa.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. They're all lovely people.
Oh, that's so mean.
And they're all like, this is cool and this is great and really looking forward to working together just like we are.
Oh, that's so nice.
So yeah, it was awesome.
Love it. That's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been.
Should we ask for questions in the chat?
Yeah, please, friends. If you have, it's okay. It's okay. Chat. If you have any questions, please hit us up. I can throw some more curveballs at you, Sam. If all else fails, I'm sure I can think of something. Blame Emily, not Sam. No. Unbelievable, Kuja. What is this? I wore my Critical Role shirt for you yesterday. What is this? Oh. Oh, now I forgot what I was going to say. I'm such a good interviewer. I'm just like, yeah. Oh, wait, what were we talking about? Oh, no. This is why I do online stuff like writing. This might have been covered already, but are Team 17 helping with the Steam launch? And if so, how? Yuri Manchos, hello, welcome. I'm so glad that you can make it. That is such a good question. Sam, lay it on us.
Yes. So we've already done the partnership announcement tweet and gone out on all the socials and everything. But so we've already got a PR studio that's been helping us with the launch. They helped us with the original launch and a few other times as well. So they're working with Team 17, and I mean, but they're going to do outreach to streamers and to press, and advertising and just all the stuff to reach out to people to let them know what we're doing and that we're coming along, is what that's what they're for as a publisher. That's their job, that's their bread and butter. So yeah, and my brain just froze. Does that answer everything?
Kuja, not Kuja, sorry, Yuri Manchos, does that answer your question? Does that help? Oh, we got another follower. Confidential Armpit. That is such a great username. Wow. Thank you very much for the follow. And Yuri Manchos, I'm very glad that answered your question too. Yeah, so let's see what other questions I have written down. Yeah, actually, I just remembered what I was going to say earlier.
Yes.
What impressed me about Team 17 actually was when they were like, email people that we've worked with. Here's some people that you can contact and ask them what they thought.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time when people are trying to be sneaky, they won't do that sort of thing. So when they did that, it immediately kind of put me at rest because I tend to be quite cautious, as everyone in the studio knows. So when they offered that, I was like, oh, okay, cool. This is good. This is wonderful. And it's been great hanging out with Faye, who is the community manager at Team17. I'm not sure if she's the only one or if she's the one working with us.
I think she's the one working with us.
Okay, mint, wonderful. Well, I'm really glad because she's extremely cool. And she'll probably be hanging out in our Discord a little bit more in the coming weeks. So it's going to be really cool having someone who's in a more common time zone. We do struggle a little bit here in old New Zealand, so having her around is going to be really cool. Just to get that even spread. I'm very excited. I'm just like, oh, thank God. There's like nothing worse than coming into work in the morning and just seeing like messages from people and the poor old mods who do fantastic work have shouldered the burden. I'm just like, oh no. So it's going to be really nice having Faye around. I'm very excited for that. Did you have any other thoughts and feelings about the partnership so far, Sam? Or Anna, since you're in chat. Oh, speaking of Anna, sorry. She has been talking. Pardon me. We're still working with Vicarious PR, who are wonderful. Vicarious are fantastic. Wahid is our contact, for lack of a better word, and he's a really nice guy. So shout out to Wahid. Thank you for all your help. We're still also working with Vicarious PR, who have more contacts in the US, while Team17 are more Europe-centered. So again, you can contact them directly. Someone asking about streaming. If we work for streamers, what process do we go through to talk to you or Team17? I mean, I guess you can talk to us if you can't find a contact email, and we'll always find the right channels, right, Sam?
Yep, totally.
So yeah, do you have any other thoughts around the partnership?
Sorry, I was just distracted. I get to work with a company that made Alien Breed and Super Frog. That's my thought.
Yeah. So,
and I know that marks me as like ancient. But I really liked those games back in the day.
That's
cool.
So cool. That's so rad. I've actually never heard of them. Can you tell me about them? I'm sorry to make you feel ancient.
So, Alien Breed was like a top-down shooter kind of thing, based fairly obviously on the Alien and Aliens movies.
Yeah.
But not like licensed. And it was just your standard sort of run around, shoot the baddies as they come out of the dark, find the keys, open the doors, get to the next level kind of thing. Super Frog was just a really good platforming game. Obviously, I haven't played it in like 50 million years, but I remember it vaguely because it was cool and I enjoyed it when I was like, I don't know, 15 or something. I have to look up when it was made and see how much it dates me.
Oh gosh. It's for the Amiga?
Yeah, that's the one.
That's early 90s.
Okay.
I was a baby. No wonder I haven't heard of these. I can just feel you wilting. What was the other game? Sorry, I'm just going to show chat.
Alien Breed. I can't remember if it's one word or two.
Breed game. I've just got to better chuck that in there. Oh wow, that is very. Oh yeah, that looks like the Xenomorph for sure.
Yep.
That's a bit naughty, but that's okay. They did things differently back in the 90s, that's for sure. I love the art actually, even for a top down. The colours are good. The orange really pops in the UI. What's going on in chat? Let's take a minute. You should have seen Sam's face when I showed him the email from Simon. Simon being the game scout who contacted us. His eyes about fell out onto the floor. Is that true? Did your eyes in fact leave your head?
Yeah, the surgery to put them back in was so expensive.
I would imagine inconvenient, considering that we're working towards Steam launch, so we kind of work in visual arts. Not me, by the way. Actually, wonderful. I can't get it on Steam quite yet. Yes, Homebrew. As Anna, our creative director, Mama Monkey, as she is in chat, has pointed out, we are going to be coming to Steam on the 13th of May. Please wishlist us if you haven't already yet. Every little bit counts.
Totally.
Googling images on the stream. Emily is daring. I like to live dangerously. I feel most alive when I am rapidly approaching death. I can't take credit for that line, Sam. Before you think that I'm really clever, that's from Apex Legends.
Okay.
Yeah. Credit where it's due. That's definitely not me. I'm not that clever this early in the morning. Are there confrontations in the game that have to be solved through non-violent means or just competition? So there's that's a really good question. Are there confrontations in the game?
There's no like other tribes you have to battle for territory. There's no weapons. There's no fighting. You could say it's entirely PvE, in that there's no other players getting in your way. But there are, as Anna's just said in the chat, there are threats that you need to work around. So the backstory of the game is that there was this ancient galaxy-spanning civilization that was destroyed, and your people are the last survivors who are living in an underground shelter, and you come out onto this world. So it's post-apocalyptic, but it's kind of like everything's been swept clean and regrown. There's not mutants and monsters and guns and stuff. And so there are remnants of the old world that have gone a bit haywire that you need to work out how to handle, and you have to keep your people fed and happy and clothed and all that sort of thing, and expand to find the resources you need.
Yeah.
But we deliberately went for a very just calm, chill, relaxing kind of thing.
Yes, I think it's... So when I was in uni, a couple of years ago now, I tried to make a game that was non-violent. And it was like a little shop simulator. And oh gosh, it was a really challenging game to make. I didn't appreciate how many like systems and whatnot go into games that kind of revolve around a shop. And the non-violent aspect of it. Oh, thanks for the follow, Homebrew. And there was also someone else that followed while we were yarning, so thank you for that. The whole non-violent aspect of it made it especially challenging to make, and I don't think a student team was particularly up for the task. The teachers very much tried to convince us to make something else, but I was like, no. Me being extremely stubborn and thinking I knew better. Oh, chat, I did not know better. Can you talk about some of the game design challenges around making a non-violent game, especially in an industry that kind of looks at violence and takes it for granted in a way?
I guess the first thing I should say is I've got no problem with violent games. I play plenty of violent games myself, not first-person shooters because they make me motion sick, which is very sad. But it's not like I'm this sort of making a political stance or anything like that. I think that the biggest gameplay or game design challenge is simply that violence is a very easy way to insert challenge and variety. So if you're making a game that's not violent, it takes a lot more careful thought about how do I give the player challenge? How do I keep the player interested and challenged and all that sort of thing? and yeah, we've done our best at that, but I think we've done a pretty good job. But it was certainly a challenge.
For sure, it was. It still is. So you just wanted to make things hard for yourself? Yes.
Yep, that's right.
Making games is so easy. Let's make it hard. We need that challenge. Said no one ever.
Yeah. Activating hard mode for my first game was an interesting choice. But that's all right. We got there. We made something we're proud of.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Before We Leave is, it's baby. It's our baby. Such a wonderful game. I'm very proud of what we've done. And I've only been around for a year. I can't imagine how you guys feel, especially you, Sam, since you've been working on it since 2017? Was that like when you first?
Something like that.
Someone in chat was wondering about the challenge. These buggers are what we were talking about. The space whales. He just ate some of my planet. Fortunately, I didn't lose anything. But they're basically a big old galactic menace in the shape of a leviathan. Very rude of them.
And that's just a little baby one too.
Oh no, yeah. The first time I saw a really big space whale, my heart was in my throat. It was actually quite scary. I didn't anticipate it to be so frightening, but it was.
Yeah.
Oh well, do your separate planets interact too? Yes. So there's shipping, which was inspired by Anno. Is that right, Sam?
Yeah, the Anno series is definitely one of the inspirations for the game. So you've got islands and planets, and you ship stuff between them.
Yeah. I've not.
Can you get close up to the spaceship? I like the spaceship.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah. When I'm recording footage for stuff, I always really like doing this shot, like where you get in super close, you kind of line up the sun and the planets, and then you just, look at that, we've made a beautiful game.
Yep.
Oh, magnifique. What is Homebrew saying? Amazing, like a 4x game and a supply chain trader in one. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'm definitely not the expert on city builders in the studio. I'm just over here being like, give me the space whale dating sim. Or I'll write. That was Zero's idea, one of our mods in Discord. I've just hung on to it so tight since then. And that's why
Emily... totally going to have to build in some kind of a joke thing.
One weekend, I'll just disappear and make something in Ren'Py, come back to work on Monday and be like, play it. And that's why Emily doesn't moderate the French channel on the Discord. That is right. My French is absolutely shocking. I did speak... You were going to say, Sam, sorry?
I can almost guarantee it's better than my French.
But we can just be terrible at French together. Okay. And Anna can lord her skills over us, being like, I am the French speaker of the studio. Let's see what... I've missed what Kuja said. Sorry, Kuja. I think I beat the game 3 or 4 times before I noticed whales had sizes. Oh my goodness. You didn't notice the big boys and the small boys. That's so sad. Well, now you know. Now you know. And they also
and to be fair, they go from huge to very huge. So it's a certain amount of, they all just look huge.
Yeah. That's true. It's like the Marvel and DC comics where there's a villain and they're really powerful, and then the next villain is also really powerful but more powerful than the last villain. After a while, it's just the same.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Let's see. Yes, Anna, I named one of the planets Toffee Pop because they're tasty, and I think we were chatting about them on the stream, and I was looking for a name for a planet.
Didn't we introduce you to them?
Yes. So that was when I was down in Dunedin last.
Yep. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, Emily went through her entire life without toffee pops. It is so sad.
So sad. Oh, I'm kind of glad though. I feel like if I'd known about them when I was a kid or a teenager, I would have eaten them to the point my teeth would have fell out of my head because of all the sugar.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So balance in all things.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any question? Her entire 20-something odd years. Yes, my entire 20-something years. I'm gonna take that compliment. I'm gonna grip it tightly. Does anyone have any other questions? We're kind of getting close to the end of the stream. So if you have any burning questions, please tell us. I've been playing Before We Leave so inefficiently while we've been yarning. I'm just kind of like looking at my planets being like, yeah, I need to get stone, and then just like taking 10 minutes to do that. So apologies if there's anyone in chat being like, does this person even know how to play? I do, sort of, a little bit, sometimes. Oh, Homebrew says, I'm definitely going to check this out upon release. Great to see you guys at International Indies too. Such a cool moment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. We like sweet messages. Did you just say you need to get stoned? Hey Joel, what's up? Good to see you in chat. Thanks for coming by. I totally did not say that. Can you imagine me saying that on the work stream, Sam? Oh no, that'd be so bad. Oh, funny. I'm trying to think of any other questions that I could ask you. Do I have?
There was why now?
Why now? Thank you. Thank you. Yes. So, Sam, why now? Why now? So close to Steam launch.
Because we thought releasing a non-violent game wasn't hard enough, so we thought we'd add a publisher in 2 weeks before release. Yeah. Basically because we're in this for the long haul, and so are Team17, and so even though it's slightly mad to be doing this, they're still going to give us an enormous boost for the Steam launch. But it's not just about that; it's about what comes next. And I know I'm being cagey and not giving you an answer of what comes next. But I mean that's what it's about, and so the opportunity to build this relationship now, it's slightly nuts, but it's cool, and it means that the future is going to be even more brighter. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, it's going to be so cool. Yeah. Joel or Gamers 2000 says, does this mean you're getting Lambos for the whole studio?
Nah, helicopters.
Oh my god. I was joking yesterday. I was like, I want my freaking yacht now. So, but I am also getting a Lambo, and it's going to be matte black, and I'm going to do donuts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I don't eat donuts. I do donuts. Thank you very much.
Yep. Totally.
Oh, so bad. No, we're pretty humble, eh? I like to think that we are anyway. Sometimes, so actually, as an Aussie, maybe it's not an Aussie thing as well. I don't know. Maybe it's just a me thing. But like coming into the studio and being like, "Oh my god, Kiwis are so frustratingly humble." It's been an interesting adjustment. I feel like I'm always bugging you, saying like, no, give yourself credit. But it's very much like a Kiwi thing to not do that. Would you agree with that? Is that like a cultural thing? Oh, totally.
Yeah. Oh. There's a very, very strong sort of tall poppy syndrome. Don't poke your head up above the, don't look better than other people, kind of thing.
For sure. Yeah, it's been really interesting getting used to that here. We definitely have that in Australia as well. I think the more rural you get, the more tall poppy syndrome there is. What? There's a mum joke in chat? I didn't get it. What are called manies? Lambo's I get it. That's a whore.
Yeah. we did have 2 goats in our backyard for a while. That's so annoying.
Oh really? Were they? Why were they annoying?
So there were 2 of them. There was a boy and a girl. The boy would try and headbutt you if you got close, and the girl would wrap her chain around trees, and you'd go out every morning and she'd be wrapped around a tree going meh, meh. And you had to unwrap her and, go down at 11 o'clock at night because you could hear them bleating and go, she's wrapped herself around a tree again, hasn't she?
Oh no. Oh.
Yeah. But it wasn't like fenced off properly, so we couldn't just let them roam.
Bugger. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, that's life.
Yeah. Goats are cute. There was through lockdown actually there was a goat on my walking route, and my partner and I nicknamed it the Sylvan because we just watched through The Witcher, the TV series, and there's a character called the Sylvan in that, and he has like horns. So yeah, it was always lots of fun going over and saying hello. He liked my partner a lot more than me. He headbutted me when I tried to pat him, but when my partner did, he was like, "Oh, I love you so much." I was very offended.
Yeah.
Like, how rude.
Yeah.
Manies bogans is a naughty word? My goodness. Manies get an obnoxious boy racer from the 90s that's poorly maintained, except for a stupidly loud sound system. Crank it up to 11 at 11 p.m. Just cruise up and down the town's main road. Yeah, we've got a few of them where I live. Oh, I hate them so much. I pride myself on not hating anybody, but man, the people that have the really loud, rattly mufflers, I'm just like, I'm gonna get you, and I don't know what that means, but I'm going to do it. Oh, so good. I was gonna ask something else. What was it? Oh, no, it's gone. Another thing that I was going to say though was, on a personal note, I'm really happy that we have Team 17 now. I think that it's going to reduce the strain on us a fair bit. Yeah, working in a 4-person team is awesome, and I love it. And the contractors that we also have are fantastic, and I'm very grateful for them. But I think after a while, especially when you make something that's popular, maybe a little bit unexpectedly so, you kind of start to see the cracks, right? And I think that that's sort of been happening over the past few months. Sam, would you agree with that?
Yeah. As I've said to some people, in a 4-person indie studio, your job description is always XYZ and stuff.
For sure.
Yeah. And there's been a lot of and stuff. And so one of the things we're really looking forward to with having Team 17 as a partner is that there'll hopefully be a bit less and stuff for us, so that we can concentrate on the things that we do well. And there's aspects of game dev, of marketing and so on, especially, that we're like, we're not very good at this, so we could hire someone to do it, or we could partner with a big company that already knows how to do it all. So that's pretty cool.
For sure. Absolutely, yeah. Even hiring people is really tough, I reckon. I've never hired someone in my life, but just what I imagine would be looking for an acceptable candidate / writing a job listing, interviewing, maybe 2 or 3 times, depending on what the process is, and then vetting them, contacting references, offering them the job, getting the contract written up, onboarding them, just all of this stuff. Oh, So
Yeah.
having...
I'm so glad we've got Anna because she's got some management experience.
Oh my gosh.
Got a clue, unlike me.
For sure. Yeah. Oh. Yes. Thank you, Anna. You save our bacon on the rig.
Oh yeah, totally.
Oh yeah. Shout out to Anna for saving our bacon on the rig. It is, and I've done hiring a few times. It's heart-wrenching sometimes and always such a gamble. How come you all didn't go with the publisher for the EGS launch? So Sam, you touched on this a little bit earlier in the stream, and Anna just answered, but yeah, basically TLDR wanted to learn by doing.
Yep, that was pretty much it. Yeah.
Anna's being really, really nice. By the way, we 100% won on the gamble on Emily and Isaac. They are awesome. Thank you. That's so nice. Could be the next moving out. Sheesh, maybe. They've won awards and stuff. I mean, we have too. We have an award-winning soundtrack. You can check it out on Spotify, Pandora, or our YouTube channel. I sound like such a content creator when I say that. It's so funny. And can I talk about the bundle, Sam? Is that allowed?
I don't know. It's not like set to coming soon or anything. So. Okay. Yeah, we've got other stuff coming.
Yes, we've got.
I just did a thumbs up and a cheesy grin.
I felt it. Yeah, we have other stuff coming around our soundtrack. So stay tuned. Yeah, Sam likes keeping stuff close to his chest. Yes. So actually, Sam, while we're streaming, I really appreciate how you and everyone else at the studio just I find that there's like not much ego attached to the game. Like obviously it's something that's really close to your heart, and we even talked earlier about how, you know, games can be a part of your identity. And I think also making a game can be something that you keep really close. It's definitely a part of your identity. Like when you make art, you definitely put a part of yourself into that art. So the fact that you and Anna and Isaac and everyone that we work with is always so willing to accept constructive criticism and feedback on the game and things that could be done better. It's so good. It's amazing. I feel like sometimes as developers, we're not very good at that because our games become our babies. But yes, I definitely appreciate everyone's lack of ego about that.
Same.
I've got a question for you. I've got another curveball for you.
Another question.
How do you get to that point of having that level of emotional detachment from what you're making? Do you think that it's like because of your experience working for 20 odd years outside of the games industry, or is it something else?
I guess partly for me, it's that what I love most is the process of making things. So I've made models and built computers and made model ships and all the rest of it. And I love making them, but once they're made, it's like, yep, I made a thing, cool, time to make something else. I'm not that invested in them. And I mean, making a game is different in the amount of time and effort that goes into it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'm not, I guess, as Anna just put in the chat, I'm not someone that particularly gets attached to things like this. And stop it, you're going to make me blush. But yeah, I guess that's the other thing is, as Gamers 2000 just said, I've been a software developer for 20 years. I've made software for live graphics for TV. I've done children's animation. I've been a DevOps architect. I've done all sorts of stuff. I've had software crash in front of millions of TV viewers, which is a great time. Love it. It was so awesome.
How did you not die on the spot? Like this morning when I was like, oh my God, the audio is not working in the stream and we have like 5 viewers. I was like, I could feel the blush going from my toes up to my head. How you handle like that? I wouldn't know. It's amazing.
So the best thing is the OB van, which is the people that like do all the mixing of the sport, what you're actually seeing like live at the venue, are the best, and they're just like gone. That's it. They should switch to something else like 2 microseconds later, and that's awesome.
That's mint. Hell yeah, that's what you want.
yeah. But I've done all these things, and so you just learn to, it's in the end it's a job, and it pays me money and feeds my family.
Yes,
so, yeah.
For sure. Love feeding families. That's pretty mint, right?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Let's read out what Anna wrote for the VOD on YouTube. I know you'll love it. He's a genuinely humble guy who does and makes awesome things and puts them up in his room or at home and then never mentions them to anyone. Oh my goodness. Sam! So humble. So frustrating. No, I appreciate it a lot. It's pretty cool. I think that Joel, aka Gamers2000, I'm pretty sure you were saying drop the T-sis to Anna, but I'm going to take the opportunity to be extremely spicy. Get ready. I think that our industry and other creative industries also rely on ego a fair bit and like having a big personality and like getting that out there, which is marvelous for marketing and that sort of thing. But like, I think for me and a lot of other people, it's certainly been reflected in community sentiment. Having someone like you, Sam, who is a little bit different to the majority of the industry is really nice. It's kind of like, okay, it's okay. I think it says to people that like you don't have to be loud and out there to do well. You can be quiet, you can be humble, you can be like thoughtful and considerate, and do well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I remember I saw a list somewhere ages ago of like the 3 most important qualities of a good programmer, and they were like laziness and hubris and something or other. And it's like you're a good programmer if you're lazy, because then you'll do things right once rather than having to redo them over and over. And you've got to have hubris. You've got to believe that you're good at what you're doing, so that you'll actually try the things and do it well. And I think in order to be successful in games, you've got to believe in yourself. You've got to be like, yes, I can do this insane thing. And so, of course, it attracts people with large personalities and large self-belief, because, you need that.
100%.
And I don't feel like that's me, but maybe I'm just being humble.
No, it's having worked with you for a year now, I would agree with your assessment of yourself, and I think that the rest of the team would as well. What's our friends in chat saying? I think that's actually one of the keys to Sam's success, that he listens to advice and acts on it. Yeah, it's a pretty rare skill, I think. Listening to advice, like, I think getting advice can be kind of easy, but like actually acting on it and listening to it, that could be tricky.
Yeah, It's not so easy.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just like in chat being like, expose on local legend Sam Barham. Let's do this.
Oh, you went there.
Yeah, I did. I was like, am I gonna say local legend Sam Barham in the stream today? No, I probably shouldn't, but I just changed my mind and I don't regret it. Sorry, not sorry. So for reference, chat, was it the Dunedin game developers?
Something like that.
Yeah. They had about a month or two after Before We Leave launched last year on EGS. They had Sam they had you in, Sam, for a thing, and they put on their poster local legend Sam Barham, and I was like, oh, he's so humble, he's gonna hate it. I'm definitely gonna mention that every day. It won't get old at all.
And to be fair, it still hasn't gotten old.
Oh, that's so good. I'm really pleased. Just gotta whip it out occasionally, you know. Oh, far out. Gamers2000 in chat says it does suck. Because I feel like there's a lot of folks out there who are incredibly skilled, but they don't have the big personality, don't see themselves represented in the upper echelons, and so they don't think they can get anywhere.
Yeah.
Anna, oh my god. Yeah, I think you're bang on, Joel. Yes, Sam. Sorry.
So any game devs listening, I've got two specific pieces of advice for you. First one is look up Pro Indie Dev, all one word, Pro Indie Dev, because that is the thing that gave me the first piece of advice, pieces of advice that got me going. It was a online conference of lots of successful indies talking about how to be successful in indie games, and it was awesome. And the other one is if you're feeling like you're not represented, go look up Rami Ismail on Twitter. He's was one half of Lambia, and he's super well known and super talkative, and he's all about representing people from all over the place and stuff. So it's awesome. So there you go. If you're wanting to find a bit more representation and finding your way into the industry a bit more, that's my recommendations.
Oh, there you go from the man himself. Thank you, Sam. Oh, we've got more people in chat. Wonderful. Hey, everybody. Congrats,
Hello.
guys. Woohoo, says Carl's content. Carl, did you do an interview with Sam recently on your podcast by any chance? Your name sounds familiar. Yes?
Sweet. Hello.
That was such... Carl, I didn't actually say this to you at play-by-play. I think we missed each other, but that was such a good interview. I really enjoyed listening to it. You asked some great questions, so thanks. You're more than welcome, my friend. Homebrew asks, do you have any advice for indie devs who want to get their game in front of more consumers? How heavy are streamers in this? That's a really good question.
So the advice that I got given that seems to work out so far is back in the day, when you had to fight off dinosaurs on your way to work and all the rest of it, the thing that really mattered was being in all the right magazines. You had to be published in magazines for your game to sell. And that's still cool. That still matters. And, being in the gaming press, that still matters a bit, but not as much as it did. And then it used to be that the really important thing was streamers. Getting played by the right streamer was it. And that still matters a lot. Getting in with the right streamers, and as Anna said in the chat, it has to be the right streamers. You'll get some people who'll play your game and you'll get 1 million wish lists and 4 sales out of it.
Yeah.
But if they're a streamer who has an audience that is interested in your kind of game, then that can be much better. But the thing that really matters now is building a community. So for example, when I announced Before We Leave, I already had a Discord set up, and it already had something to do. It had an idle game that you could go and play in the Discord. It's still there, people still play it. But it meant that as soon as people turned up, game had just been announced, first time it was publicly visible, the call to action was come along to our Discord. They come along to the Discord, and there's an idle game, so there's a reason to come back tomorrow and the next day, and there's a reason to become part of the community. And that meant that our Discord was enormously successful, far more than I'd ever dared to dream. And then that buzz that you make sort of helps to seed everything else. You can, you'll get people coming to you because you had a good announcement and you have a growing community. And if you're going out to streamers, you can be like, hey, I've got a Discord with thousands of people in it that are interested in this game. Do you want to stream it? And they're far more likely to listen to you. And so, getting that announcement right and having a growing, interested community with something to do is really, really key.
For sure, yes. Kuja says the idle game is the reason I stayed. Yes, the idle game is really good. Actually, as a community manager coming into the company and sometimes knowing that indie devs can, sorry guys, neglect the community side of things and let it get a little bit feral, sometimes for better, sometimes for worse. I was so impressed by the community when I joined. I almost felt like my job was done for me. I'm like, what can I actually do here? Sheesh, like this dude knows what he's doing. Far out.
No, I don't. I was just pretending.
Oh, it was so good. The idle game's fantastic. The community already had this like really respectful vibe. And Homebrew says, thanks so much, guys. I'm taking notes here, especially on the community aspect for finding the right streamer. They tend to be represented by talent agencies. Or are there some more niche, smaller ones you'd target?
Honestly, I don't know, because I've always gone through someone else for my PR and influencer stuff, because I was like, you gotta recognize what you're good and bad at, and I'm like, I am never going to be good at PR and marketing. So every time we've done any sort of major marketing push, it's always been through someone, and same with influencers and streamers. I think a lot of them, the big ones have talent agencies and all the rest of it, but I think a lot of them are just doing it themselves. But the right people, like the right PR studio or whatever, will know who and how to contact. And like, they're not, within the context of making an entire game, they're not very expensive PR studios. So yeah,
for sure. And it also takes a lot of pressure off, right?
Yeah.
In terms of time.
That's right. That's the other thing I was going to say about the community. So we deliberately, partly because it's a non-violent game, right? We deliberately wielded a very large ban hammer. We gave no warnings. You come along, you swear in our Discord, you're gone. Not even, don't care. And before the announcement, I had a bot set up with stuff that would instantly remove any comments with any swear words in it. I really wanted eye bleach because I had to fill in the list of swear words myself. So I had to research words to ban, and oh my gosh.
Oh no, I'll say. I wish
there was the usual stuff, but there was all this other stuff, and I was like, I don't know what this means, and I really do not want to know what this means. I'm just going to include it and hope I never have to find out.
Oh god. Yeah. Far out. I wish I'd been around to help you with that, because like, not gonna lie, as an Aussie, I definitely have like the stereotypical potty mouth. I really rate it in for work. But that's so funny. Yeah, look, the Discord community is great, and the work that y'all did before I got there has just made my life so much easier. A lot of community managers burn out really quickly because they have to deal with an avalanche of toxicity. And sometimes there's a lot of pushback from the developers themselves, where they're like, oh, it's just the community doing their thing. It's almost like the boys will be boys kind of attitude. And that's actually not okay. We need to create online spaces to welcome everybody. And I find that if you, I found this with all of the communities that I've run over the years, if you protect vulnerable people, then the community will just be more wholesome, and it will be a safer space for everybody, even if you're not a vulnerable person.
Yep, totally.
So yeah, I definitely appreciate that work that you did before I even got there. No, thank you. Oh, I've just noticed a question from Carl. Sam, with 10 points to allocate, how many points would you allocate to marketing or game design?
Yeah, I think so. Anna answered at 5 points for each. I think that's right. Like, if you can make an amazing game, and if no one knows about it, then what's the point? You get lots of indie devs. They'll like come to a marketing person and say, "I've made this game. Help me to market it." And it's like, sorry, you're 2 years too late. You should have asked me this question when you started.
Yeah.
So, you can't separate them. A great game that no one knows about, what's the point? And a terrible game that's heavily marketed, sure, you'll make some sales, but then everyone's going to hate it and you're going to vanish and make no sales on your next game. So you've got to do both, and marketing is part of game design. So start from square one. Start thinking about how is this going to sell? Who's going to be interested in it? What do they actually like? What do they actually want? Because games are art, absolutely, but they're also a business. You've got to make money. You've got to make a living off them. There's no point trying to. I mean, having said that, if you want to make games as a hobby, absolutely do it. It's wonderful. I started making Before We Leave just as a hobby with sort of a vague hope that maybe one day it might turn into something, but no expectation of anything. And lots of people make games just as a hobby and they never finish them, and that's cool. No worries at all.
Yeah.
But if you want to make a living off them, then you've got to engage with money. It's the way it is.
The money side of things, for sure. Yeah. That was such a good answer. Thank you, Sam. We've got some great questions coming in chat, but I'm very conscious of the time. How much longer did you want to keep going for?
Oh, whatever.
Okay. Yeah, we'll just keep.
I've got things to do today, but there's no immediate need.
Yeah, I always really enjoy talking to you and the rest of the team. So I'm like, I feel very spoiled right now. I'm just like, yes, I get to talk to my cool boss and my cool team. It was so nice seeing you all in Welly.
Yeah.
So yes, I feel very spoiled right now, getting to hang out with you. Kuja has said something neat. As someone who works for streamers, which, by the way, Kuja, I'd love to know more about. If you ever want to yarn about it in our Discord, go off. Even jump in self-promo or something and talk about your work. If you want to, if it's not super NDA, to hell and back. As someone who works for streamers, like Sam said, you want someone who normally plays your game. Getting a streamer who does city builders with 100 viewers is better than a League of Legends streamer with 10,000 viewers typically. That is such good advice. That is so bang on. Yep. And we've definitely given keys to people who are really small streamers who do play city builders and show a genuine interest in our game and in the genre and that sort of thing. It's
and the other part of it is that showing that small streamers have played your game is a good in for larger streamers, because they'll be like, hey, these people are all playing this game, why don't you give it a look? And they'll be much more likely to listen than, hey person, can you play my game that no one else has touched? And they'd be like, why would I waste my time on that? Yes,
that's so true. There's definitely an element, pardon me, to building hype with the streamers as well, which was completely foreign to me until we had a conversation with Wahid from Vicarious PR. I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. And yeah, intuitively, I think I knew it, but just hearing it out loud, I'm like, oh, that's so smart. Wow. Carl has another good question again. Title of the game Before We Leave. What was the process for coming up with that? Any other working titles that you could share? Yes, so as Anna's pointed out, Before was one of them. Yeah.
So when I first started doing game dev as a hobby, the prototype I started working on was called After, and I was just learning Unity and it was too big, so I dropped it. And in effect, Before We Leave is a prequel to that, I guess. So it was originally just being called Before. And we just kind of talked it back and forth with various people. And Before We Leave was the first name that no one could think of a reason why it sucked. Honestly, naming things is so hard.
Oh, it's the worst.
Because you've got to think about, has this been used before, and does it say something about the game that you don't actually want it to say? I came up with lots of names, and someone was like, that is such a dumb name because it sounds like a religious cult. Or that was one specific feedback. I can't remember the name that I came up with, but yep, sounded like a religious cult was one of them.
Oh no.
And just lots of things like that. And eventually you're like, okay, no one hates this. Let's go with it.
Oh my god, Anna. Naming children is easier. You don't have to sell them. Oh, wow. The two hardest things in computer science is naming things, cache invalidation and off by one errors.
Yeah. And yes, so Carl, Balancing Monkey Games, that one's easier. So when I started as a hobby, I made a company and I liked monkeys and I was balancing full-time work and being a husband and a father and game dev as a hobby. So Balancing Monkeys. Ta-da!
I love it. So good. It's such a unique name as well.
It was Anna's idea.
Oh, that's so cool. Anna, hell yeah. Actually, speaking of family and coming up with ideas, I remember you telling me that one of your kids came up with the idea of the space whale. Is that right?
No, that was so. The original idea was from a midwinter parade thing, but yeah, one of our kids did some concept art.
That's what I'm thinking of. That's so rad. I would love to see it one day. I'm sure the community would too.
I have to see if I can find it. It's probably on that giant pile of a mess behind me on my desk.
That sounds about right. Oh, yeah, that'd be so cool to see.
Yes, he does have credit.
Yes, I think we've packed the credits full of so many people. My partner's even in there. Did you know that?
Is he?
Yeah, because he tested the game
Cool.
when I first started. He was really keen to play, and I was like, well, we're having testers opening up, so you should just send a message, see what happens. Yeah. And yeah, so he's like in the credit of the game, which is pretty neat.
Sweet.
Yeah. So it's a real family and friends affair. The credits of Before We Leave and the whole project too, which is really cool. It's like kind of the vibe that we all want, I reckon.
Totally.
I'm just going through chat and seeing if there's any other questions. Far out. Lots of comments. Thanks so much for being a great audience, everybody. I love it. On behalf of the NZGDA, we're really proud of your journey. Oh my god, that's so nice. I'm gonna get emotional. I love the Kiwi Games community. Every time I meet more people, I'm just like so blown away by the love and the support. Everyone's just like so tight knit, especially the South Island folks. No disrespect to the North Islanders, but yeah, maybe it's because I've met more South Island game developers because I'm a part of the South Island company. Maybe, yeah, who knows? But I see how it is. Oh no, are you up here in Auckland? Not Simon? Thanks for being so talented but supportive, everyone. It definitely fired me up more to play a homebrew. That's so lovely. Awesome. Thank you. Yes, this bad boy can fit so much love in it. Should we wrap it up there?
Yeah. Any final questions? Last question.
How you made your own bed? Yeah, I sure did. Hamilton is nice. I always think of the musical when I hear it. I think we're good, Sarah. Oh, pineapple on pizza or not?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, I love it. Sorry about it. I wonder what Isaac thinks. Uninstalling. Blocked and reported. Get out of here. Wonderful. All right. Well, Sam, thank you so much for yarning with me today. I think we've had a bloody good chat. I hope we've answered everyone's questions. Was there anything else before we wrap up?
I'm just laughing at Game of the 2000's question.
Oh my god, I didn't see it. 100 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized monkey. Wait, what? Let me just comprehend that. 100 duck-sized horses. 100 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized monkey. Okay, right, I'm with you now.
No, my preference is 3 duck-sized elephants.
Oh yes, I agree.
Yep.
Oh, can I just have 3 duck-sized ducks? Because ducks are really cute, especially when they're babies. Anyway, let's wrap this up. Sam, thanks once again. Thank you, chat. Our stream will be returning next Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. New Zealand Standard Time, as per usual. And that will be how many days before launch? So
not enough.
That will be we'll be 1 week out from launch then. So if you want to see us particularly frantic, or me particularly frantic, with my hair falling out, come and say hi. Cool. Wonderful. Well, thanks again, Sam. Thanks again, chat.
Worries.
Love you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.